Hey designer, welcome to my channel. Hope you guys are doing great. Today, I'm going to teach you how to make this professional flyer using your smartphone. Let's check the preview of the design. Before jumping into today's tutorial, let's check the intro.
Diko graphic skills with creativity.
Please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified when we post new videos.
So guys, without wasting much of our time, let's dive into today's tutorial.
Yeah, good evening guys. Welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing absolutely great. Today, I want to show you how you can make a church flyer on your Android smartphone using your PixelLab as usual. In this tutorial, I'm going to teach you how you can combine many things together to achieve this particular design. Basically, all the text, I'm going to apply the effort to it one after the other. Then we're going to see how the result will be. So without wasting much of our time, let's get started. The first thing to do is to determine our sizes. Let's go to the size. So the size I want to use is 2560 by 2560. It's the same thing as square size, which is 120 by 120. So after that, I'll go to my gallery, then access the background I want to use. You see, I first of all import it as an image, then I will go and import it as background. Then you overlay this. You will actually understand. I will tell you the reason why I'm always making my own be like this. I will later remove it because of the issue in the PixelLab. Because if you don't do it, let me explain before I go further. If you don't do this, what I just did now, then later I will now remove the background to transparent. If you don't do that, if you save your work as PLP on your PixelLab, there is probability that it will distort at later very stretch when you open it that you want to re-edit. If it's those that always experience that we understand. So I have to find a solution to read. Then I discover that you have to import two background. So when you are saving your work, say with transparent background, then you put another image as a background, then your work will be okay. That is one trick in that. So let's further. Then after that, I'm going back to my gallery. We need just two things, the background and the logo. Then position the logo, have it lock. Then we'll go to our text area. So type city, let's say city of Hope, City of Hope International. You see, International Church. You see, open bracket. Then we'll put abbreviation City of Hope International Church. Then we'll close the bracket. So we go to our fonts, then want to use Lex pattern or to Lex pattern. Sorry. So we'll go to our font area, then select Lex pattern. Have it reduced very well. You can use the scale button, reduce it very well. Then there should be a little space in between because of the look of the font. Then there should be centralized. Then we are going to position it here. Have it reduced very well if possible. So we'll reduce it just as this. So I think let's make use of 18. Then we centralize. So after achieving that, this is where we're going now. The work started. So cancel this, just copy this so that you won't be able to be stressing yourself. So type letter H, then we're going to increase the letter H to, let's say, 230. Let's increase it to 234. You can make it anyhow you want. So make it to 234. Now you turn on this. So when you turn it on, then after that, what we're going to do, we go to our shadow. we'll go to shadow area. So we'll apply shadow. But to see what we're doing, we can go to shape. Then we'll bring the shape under. So let the shape go under the H. Then you can see the shadow is appear well, right? So you now go to the shadow area. Then we enable the shadow. Sorry. We are going to enable the shadow for it. Then reduce the size, reduce the radius. Then what we're going to do next, we need to shift this toward towards this side a little bit. Then it has to be fade, it has to be transparent. So the two, so we can increase further if we actually want, but it shouldn't be too much. So you can see the work. Then we can turn on the glow if we needed. So we reduce the size very well so that it will look like a shadow. So once you achieve that, the next thing we are going to do, just cancel this. So after cancel, make sure you position it very well. Position it. Then you now copy. Then you type hour. We are going to type hour. So we type this. So here now, we'll make sure that we set up a ruler that will guide us. So this will be our demarcation here and our demarcation here. So now we can now adjust why this one will go here. So you can see it will go here. Okay, it can go here. Then we send it to the back. So when you send it, then you must see there is what? Transparent background. You can see, I mean, the shadow. Now good. We copy. Then we type H. Since we are typing hour, so we type H. So I mean, sorry, we type U. Sorry, letter U. Okay. So we shift that to come here. And that's the essence of give everything shadow. Because this one will still be, sorry please. So this one will be under this. So we can now go to this place, then make it come under, so that at least the shadow will be able to appear here. So it has to be under this 0, under 0. So the shadow has appeared, right? So cool. So we'll make sure that it appear very well. Okay, very cool. So now after gotten that, and there will be a space, more space in it. So there should be more space, not that maybe it will just enter it like that. So there should be more space. So now the next thing that we're going to do, we're going to copy, then we'll type letter R. So letter R, then we shift that to come here. So this letter R, after shifting it, then that one will be under the letter U. Then you can see the work, Abby. Very good. So the next thing we are going to do after that, we are going to merge everything. We are not merging it together, just highlight, click here, then you'll be able to use the centralize button to centralize it at once. So after achieving that, the next thing we are going to do, we are going to make this one bold, which you can see. We'll form another one here. So we are going to form another one. So after putting it there like that, we increase it a bit to be in that position. So after that, the next thing we're going to do is to just copy from here. So we can lock the 4. So this city, we are going to copy it. So copy, then we edit. Let's say 1. We edit it to 1. So after that, we now increase the size a bit. We go to the color area, then we select black color. Click on this to make it deeper. That is the reason why I normally make it that way. So it will be very deeper. It will be dark more than it won't mix any color to it. So put the 1 here. Okay, very cool. we can increase the size anyway to make it obvious. Okay, very good. So after that, reposition very well and make sure it align. Now we are almost there. So the next thing we are going to do, we go to the shape area. So under this shape, you just bring one to this leg, then another one very closer to this, then a little bit just as this.
Don't
Go
forget
to
to
the
hit the
color
subscribe
area, give
button
it
and the
the red
bell
color,
icon.
then we are going to send it to the back. Just send everything to the back just as this. So after sending it to the back, you can actually view it. So we are going to bring it down a little bit just as this. After bringing it down, then we'll go in with our right up, and our right up we can cap it from here. So we edit, then we have of praise. You can see of praise, and so you say, so we are going to increase this a little bit to fit in this place, in the space we provide at the bottom. So we'll bring it down here. So after bringing it, we are going to increase the size well. So we increase the size very well. So it's okay like this. So what we need to do is to just bringing this down. Okay. So what we need to do next is to just reduce this size a little bit. Then everything will be accurate. Then we are going to shift this in a little bit. Now use your centralized icon to make sure that everything is actually perfect, but I'm thinking of reducing it back to make the size actually fit in just as this. Okay, so make sure it's actually fitting. So now it's cool. Okay, so just long this a bit. I'm trying to target something here, that's why I'm wasting much time. So reposition very well, then you have to increase the size. Now centralize. Let's see how it look. But I'm thinking of let apply a shadow, a little bit shadow to this. So come to the shadow area, apply shadow to that particular red shape. So a little bit shadow, then the offset and the offset Y and X should be given something small, just as this. So it should be giving something 2 2. Then your blur radius should be reduced. So to make it stand out, just exactly like this. And we should not, we should justify the two sides. So justify, make sure you centralize. Okay, excuse. So now it's actually cool, right? So we can proceed on our procedure. So I'm thinking of shifting it in a little bit. So you need to make your eye sharp so that at least you can put a justification on the two. So now this is actually work. So we are going to copy any of those letter here because we still need to do another trick. So we type W because we have to make it 1 1 worship. So when we type this, we have to reduce the size. Let's reduce the size to depend on what you want actually, but I want to make my own to 51. So now I will turn on my grid, click on the movement arrow, then line. I will be able to move it because I want to align properly. So now I will shift it towards here. Shift it. So to make sure that everything is actually cool, I will set a border here and a border here. So everything will be able to plumb. So now after setting that border, I will make sure that everything really lay in between. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to change the color. I will change the color to yellow. Then after changing the color, I will copy, then type letter O since it is worship. So I'm bringing that here, which you can see. So I will make sure that I position it in between. Then I will move it in a little bit. After moving it in, I will make sure that it go behind the W so that, sorry, please, so that the shadow, was supposed to off my data, sorry please, so that the shadow will be able to show. After doing that, since we are typing worship, I'm going to copy, type letter O, repeat the same process all through. So just position here. After position, you shift it in a little bit, let it calm down a bit so that it won't go beyond the line. Then that one will be under O, just in descending order. Then everything will appear in ascending order. So you understand? So after making it that way, the next thing we're going to do, we copy, then we type X since we want to type worship. So after typing that, we position it here. So it's just a kind of a trick anyway. So after positioning it that way, we'll repeat the same process because this will go at the back of everything and it will actually look like this. So we move it a bit, then we are going to copy, then we have letter H. After having letter H, we'll move it as well, that it will come here. Then we justify it properly. After justify, we are going to move it. It's going to be at the back. Okay, cool. So the next thing we are going to do is to shift a bit. So shift a bit. So after that, we are going to copy. We type letter I. As you can see, after typing letter I, we centralize by adjusting this as well. So it's going to come here. I'm going to tell you how you are going to centralize everything at the end of the day so that there won't be any issue. So now position it here. How can we do letter I? It has to be closer as well. So that because we have to put a justification to everything. So we still click on our layer. It will be the last thing here in descending order. You understand? So these are letter I so that the shadow can apply on everything that we're doing. So we just make it to be like this and it has appeared. We achieve our aim. So the lab on all the list is letter P. So we type letter P, then we centralize the whole thing, then we move it to this particular area, just letter H. We move it to this particular area. So after that, we bring it in, and this will be the last in descending order while you appear in ascending order on the screen. So you can see, so this one will actually plumb together and the shadow will be able to show on each. So you can see, right? So after that, now you can see that the shadow appear on the two. But there is one thing that we need to do at this area. The shadow that has to do with letter I has to be reduced so that it will make the letter Y to be shown properly. So that letter Y, the offset, we have to reduce. You can see it's nearly affect the work, and that letter H we have to reduce and make it darker a bit. So we can make it darker a bit. Then we go with the letter H as well. We need to just adjust that a bit too. So we'll make it darker, then we reduce it. So we'll make it darker a little bit, then we see how it look. After doing it that way, we look at it. Then you can see everything is actually plumb. So what we need to do is to, as I said, we need to just adjust that letter H to make it more deeper so that I can actually show what we want. And when you look at it, we'll make it deeper and it show. So we'll go to letter H, we'll make it more deeper as well so that I can actually bring out what we actually wanted. So we'll go to the capacity. We increase the capacity so that it can reflect out what we want, and you can see it actually did what we actually wanted. So now after that, the next thing to do is to just mark everything. After you mark it, click on this beside delete, click on it, and click on this arrow. It's a centralized arrow. That one will allow you to centralize. You see, we are doing the wrong thing before, but everything is actually what? Centralized. But let's look at it, if it's actually centralized or it is not. And what we can do at that particular period is this. I want it to be exactly like this, rhyme with this particular one. So I will position it here. So it means automatically our arrangement is somehow poor, and that is what you need to be avoided. So there's a way you address that. Just be moving in small towards the edge, then you achieve your aim. So it's actually cool like this, and everything is centralized. Then you go back to your layer and have everything locked, so that your hand will not be touching it and it won't scatter your own effort. You understand? So we lock it. If we still need that, we can leave. So now as it is, the next thing we need to do is to just go to our text area. We almost go to we are moving towards the end. So we have every Thursday, you can see. So here we want to use a font called a vertical. So we call it a vertical. So I've used a font which I've mentioned before, and that one is Leaks pattern. So I like to use the font a lot because it's very good font for me. So now position this here. It should just be between this and this. Just make sure there is a little space and let it stand out, since that is the date. So after you make it that way, then we are going with any of these something. We need to copy it. So I'm copy this, delete it. Then we have 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Then we are going to change the font to, the color to yellow. Then we are going to increase the size a bit for us to be able to move it down. Then we reduce the size and have the position stand out around here. Use our centralized position to centralize it, and everything is actually plumb, as you can see. So the next thing we are going to do after that, we can give a little space in between, just as this, and the space is already even there. So we can give a little space, just like 4. Then we centralize. Let's centralize. So after centralizing it, then we go to the text area where we have street name. We have to put the address. So we have Only Junction. We have Only Junction, which you can see Only Junction, comma, Allen area. Okay, Lagos. So we have Lagos, comma, Nigeria. Lagos, Nigeria. Okay, cool. So now this font, now we need to look at it whether it can actually work here. If it can't work, there's no any cause for alarm. We need to just change it totally. So this will be here, around here. Very cool. Then the font is actually okay for it. So let me back. Then we centralize this. So after putting this, then we have going to just put the finishing touch. Come and be blessed. So we have come and be blessed. So yeah, after that we go to our font and use what we call Benedict font. And this is Benedict font. Then we are going to reduce the size, go to the color area, then we give color red. Don't use 2 color, don't use 3 color, don't use 4 color together. Depend on how creative you are. Though there shouldn't be too much color whenever you are making your design. And as a beginner, when you see a researcher, they will be saying a researcher should not handle more data. When you are a beginner in research, you don't handle more data. Why? The reason is you might not know how to handle what we call a extraneous variable, which is error. There are some error that normally occur when you are dealing with large data, which you might not know since you don't have experience. So the same thing applicable to design. When you don't really understand or having more experience about what you are doing, you don't need to deal with more color, don't deal with more fonts, don't deal with more color. If you are dealing with more color, there is a tendency that you will your design will look rough, will look somehow, will look unpresentable, because it's like you
Don't
are
forget to
wearing
hit the subscribe button and the bell
you are
icon.
wearing a cloth that is having, your shoe is black, your shirt is blue, your trouser is green, your wristwatch is ashes, then let's say your face cap, your hair, you dye it to gray color, then your underwear is white, your handkerchief, let's say it's golden. How are you going to look like? You look different, you look funny. So those are the things that we need to consider whenever you are making your design. You need to be very, very smart in that, and you look at it, that is this color go along with each other. You understand? So when you look at it, we'll actually finish our design exactly like this. We'll actually finish it. When you see how everything is being looked, you can see categorically that this is almost a watch it, and you can just come up with any amazing design like this. And this is just a church flyer without a picture, and when you look at it, everything is actually set. And I believe we'll learn something from here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment if this is helpful in one way or the other. God bless you. Have your design being safe, and as I do say, don't merge unnecessarily, and always save with Dimension Ultra. Then your format should be in PNG. Thanks for watching once again.